The presidency has finally responded, and the tone of that response is strong, direct, and very clear. After days of intense criticism from opposition parties over the amended Electoral Act, the government has broken its silence, and the message is simple. The law stands, the process was followed, and the outrage from rival camps is, in their view, unnecessary. Right now, the political space in Nigeria is very active. Statements are flying from one side to the other. Press conferences are being held, social media is buzzing, supporters are defending their leaders passionately. And at the center of all this is one key issue, trust in the electoral process. The opposition had raised concerns about certain provisions in the new Electoral Act. They questioned aspects of result transmission, backup documentation, and internal party primary methods. The message suggested that these changes could affect transparency in future elections. That is what triggered this controversy. But the presidency has responded firmly. According to their statement, there is no removal of transparency, no attempt to weaken democracy, and no plan to disadvantage any political party. They insist that the law still allows electronic transmission of results and that backup documentation only exists in case technology fails, especially in areas with network challenges. The government's explanation is this: electronic systems are important, but Nigeria still faces connectivity issues in some rural areas. So the law provides a backup method to ensure results can still be recorded properly. According to the presidency, this is about practicality, not manipulation. However, the opposition is not fully satisfied with that explanation. Some leaders argue that whenever backup systems are introduced, there must be very clear safeguards to prevent misuse. They are asking for absolute clarity, absolute transparency, and absolute accountability. One side says the new law strengthens the system by making it flexible. The other side says flexibility can create loopholes if not properly monitored. That is the core disagreement. The presidency also addressed claims that the amendments were rushed. They stated that consultations lasted for months, involving lawmakers, experts, and stakeholders. According to their position, due process was followed, and the National Assembly exercised its constitutional role properly. This back and forth is significant because election laws are sensitive. Elections are the foundation of democracy. When political actors disagree strongly about electoral rules, citizens naturally become concerned. Another part of the controversy involves party primaries. The amended law encourages direct primaries or consensus arrangements. The presidency argues that this empowers ordinary party members instead of limiting decisions to a small group of delegates. In their view, that it strengthens internal democracy. Opposition figures, however, question whether political parties are structurally prepared for nationwide direct primaries. They argue that logistical and financial burdens could complicate the process. Again, it is a debate about implementation. Beyond the legal arguments, there is also political strategy at play. Every strong statement now has long-term implications. Political actors are not just speaking for today. They are positioning themselves for future elections. The presidency's strong language, describing some criticisms as exaggerated, sends a message of confidence. It tells supporters that the government believes it acted correctly, and at the same time, it challenges the opposition to present concrete alternatives instead of only raising objections. The opposition's strong language, expressing concern and urgency, sends its own message. It tells supporters that they are vigilant and ready to defend democratic processes. This dynamic creates tension, but tension in a democracy is not automatically negative. Debate is normal. Disagreement is normal. What matters is that institutions remain respected and processes remain lawful. Citizens watching from home are asking practical questions. Will future elections be credible? Will technology be reliable? Will political parties act responsibly? These are valid concerns, and leaders must answer them clearly. There is also the issue of public perception. In modern politics, perception can be as powerful as reality. Even if a law is technically sound, if people do not trust it, controversy will continue. That is why communication from both sides is so important right now. The presidency appears focused on reassuring the public. Yeah, and the opposition appears focused on warning the public. Both approaches are political strategies. Another important factor is timing. Even though the next general election may seem distant, serious political positioning starts early. Messaging now lays the foundation for campaigns later. Observers are watching how this debate evolves. Will there be legal challenges? Will amendments be reconsidered? Will further clarifications be issued? These are possibilities, but nothing official suggests immediate reversal of the law. It is important to highlight that Nigeria remains a multi-party democracy. Multiple political parties are active, vocal, and competitive. That in itself is a sign of democratic engagement. At the same time, leaders must avoid rhetoric that could increase unnecessary anxiety. Strong words should be balanced with responsibility. Citizens want reassurance, not fear. And this moment also reflects a broader reality. Nigerians are paying closer attention to governance than ever before. Young people are engaged. Civil society is active. Media platforms are analyzing details quickly. That level of engagement pushes leaders to respond promptly. The presidency's response may calm some supporters. It may energize critics. It may open new rounds of discussion, but it certainly ensures that the debate continues. Looking ahead, then the key question is how this controversy will shape political alliances. Disagreements sometimes push opposition groups closer together. Sometimes they create internal divisions. Much will depend on how the conversation evolves in the coming weeks. Another factor is institutional confidence. Electoral bodies must continue to demonstrate independence and competence. Transparent communication from these institutions will reduce speculation. The government says the law strengthens democracy. The opposition says certain parts require more safeguards. The public wants assurance that their votes will count. That is the full picture. Please like this video and subscribe to the channel for more updates.